After spending most of the second half of 2019 devoted to performance running shoes, Virgil Abloh now brings his sublime touch to another retro model. Let's take a closer look at his Nike Dunk Low. What's going on, guys? You're watching Sneaker News on YouTube, and today we're taking a closer look at the off-white Nike Dunk Low in 3 colorways. Before we do that, just do us a quick favor, hit the subscribe button. We'll get right to it. And of course, big thank you to Stadium Goods for lending us these shoes. If you want to shop any of these 3 right now, just check the links in the description. So for the second half of 2019, Virgil Abloh turned his attention away from the 10 models and towards women's running, track and field. And he dropped shoes like the Terra Kiger 5, the Vapor Street, and the Waffle Racer SP. Now he turned his attention back to the old school classics like the Nike Dunk. These are much more different from the original 10 models, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We just want to go over the basic release details. All 3 of these shoes will release on December 20th, 2019, and all 3 will retail for $170 each. Of course, please check the store list below because these will be very, very hard to get as dunk demand is at an all-time high. So as you can see with the Nike Dunk Low, Virgil Abloh took a very different design direction from the original 10 models. So you won't see anything like oversized logos or translucent uppers or just flip panels or anything like that. He maintained the original construction of the Nike Dunk Low, added a few of his touches, and kind of made it into off-white shoes. So in this video, we're gonna go over every little detail that makes these so different. We'll talk about the 3 colorways, these 2 being from the Be True pack from when the Nike Dunk first dropped, and this green pair that kind of had more of a presence in the early 2000s with the high top. So first things first, we want to talk about the overall construction of the shoe, just to go over some basics. You know, the upper is built with like a full leather, and the leather is extremely soft. We have to say that's probably the most important thing about a dunk is like the quality of the leather. It's not too stiff, and it's not that weird plasticky leather. It's really soft. There's already some natural like creasing that goes on, and honestly, when it comes to like a Dunk Low or like a retro shoe, that kind of creasing makes the shoe look even better. One example of that on this Michigan pair, you can see that there's a groove that exists right here, and if you have Dunk Lows from the past or even SB Dunks, that weird crease is pretty normal and very common with Dunks. So right off the bat, we have to say that the choice of materials were really good. Even the interior lining is that like a cotton mesh type of material. There's no leather lining or any sort of different take on the Dunk. It's just a straight original mesh, which we also do like. Here on the medial side, of course, the Helvetica print, that does not seem to be going away anytime soon. And one thing to note is that the Dunk is where things are kind of different. He went for like a leather face and the exposed interior sponge, and obviously the Nike logo on the tongue is not the classic Nike, but the vintage style with the script. It's not the original nylon that original Dunks have. Outsole is pretty much the same. We're so happy that they didn't go with some sort of like funny icy sole. They just decided to go with the classic solid rubber. Here you can see the red with the gray and the red, and this particular colorway is called the UNLV pair. They're one of the original 6 schools in the Be True pack. This is quite obviously the Michigan pair. And now this was not tied to any specific school, but two-tone dunks, color on white, have always been really popular, especially right now because sort of varsity school kind of appeal is going really, really hard. The retro look is not going anywhere anytime soon, but this was not one of the original Be True colorways. In 2003, Nike did drop a clover green high top and basically same green and white. So while it's not an OG, it does kind of give off that OG vibe, and just like the other ones, same Nike tongue label, same leather. So here we want to talk about the most obvious change that Virgil made is this funny wide lacing system, a detail that some people find absolutely genius. It's a detail that some people find absolutely stupid, but we just wanted to give you a quick side-by-side of what the shoes look like with and without. So here's the shoes without, the crimson laces that we took out, because we wanted to show you how it's built. You see 4 holes colored in tone with the panel that it's basically punched through. And there's these little cords that act as eyelets for the red laces. And you can kind of see just the original Nike Dunk shape. It's kind of funny that Virgil went for a unique yet simple approach to the shoe because the Nike Dunk Low is gonna make a comeback in 2020 for sure. And they've already kind of started that with the re-release of the Viotex. Again, here on the medial side, classic Dunk construction, leather, if you ignore the holes and the eyelets and the Helvetica print. So just as like a Dunk bring back alone without all the extra off-white add-ons, the shoe is actually really, really good. If you're a Dunk fan, you're definitely gonna be impressed by these. And if you're just kind of catching on to the Dunk wave, this is what a quality retro should look like. So Nike's been retroing Dunks for quite a while now. We haven't seen the simple two-tone or the Be True colorways make a return, although the Michigan and the UNLVs did make a random comeback as a high top a few years back. But in general, Dunk lows don't really appear in the simple color scheme anymore. Nike understands that right now the Dunk is having a crazy movement. A lot of it has to do with Travis Scott wearing Dunks. Virgil Abloh is known to shop on eBay to find older pairs. Sneakerheads who were around in the early 2000s are now kind of falling in love with the Dunk again. I mean, there are a lot of shoes that you can credit with the growth of sneaker culture, but in terms of hype and collectability, SB Dunks and even non-SB Dunks are probably at the top. Quick look at the insole. We have the swoosh, and if you can tell, the swoosh is not your standard swoosh. It's more of like a retro vintage style swoosh that you saw in the Cortez, in the Phil Knight shoe dog pack, that is. More off-white markings, the year it was founded, and all these other symbols. Here's a closer look at the laces that we took off. It says shoelaces, and the tips are just kind of dipped in this green paint. Also, even with the insole, a fun little tidbit is that on the underside, which most of you will never see, basically the actual pattern of the Nike Dunk outsole. So fun little fact, fun little hidden detail, although it doesn't really make much sense since they use the OG anyway, but yeah, they decided to sneak that in there. One more detail that we want to show you that might not be obvious, and we don't believe any other photos have really shown, is that on the heel, it looks like a classic Nike heel tab. It actually folds upward and you can see the back neck of the swoosh. This is something that is not an original detail to the Dunk High, although we've seen Diamond Supply do that with their Dunks. Of course, they have no connection with these, so interesting choice to go with that fun little feature. And just even flipping this up, the leather is just extremely soft and feels really good in hand. Again, with the classic cotton lining. Here we have a brand new off-white Nike shoebox with all the Swiss cheese holes, chromed out custom lining, and that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it. We just went over basically what you need to know in terms of what's different about off-white Nike Dunks. New tongue, of obviously the lacing and the little holes underside, all the off-white markings, the heel flap that goes upwards, the special insoles, the shoebox. But we're glad that the leather on these are really, really nice. The outsole is OG. The Dunk is going to be a huge focal point for Nike in 2020. They totally understand that right now it's having a moment. SBs are constantly going up in price. Let us know in the comments which of the three colorways you like the best. We're partial to the green white ones, but you may like the Michigan, you may like the UNLV. Of course, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet. We'll catch you in the next video.